Beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Would you be my neighbor? Hi, everybody. Sorry for, again, another late start, another funeral today. One of our deacons here at True Bethel. And so we say farewell to Deacon Reeves. Deacon Reeves served as, at one point, the chairman of the deacon board for Mount Ararat when Reverend Jones was pastoring. Then I remember he was a deacon over with Richard Taylor when that church was located off of Elmwood. And so he has gone on to be with the Lord. Faithful man. Was in a type of hover around and would still make it to church. So he deserved to have whatever type of home going that his family desired. So let me get right to some things. Just brought to my attention that Lorna Peterson. Now, here's the crazy thing. Lorna Peterson was a community activist, very, very active in fighting for human rights and many other things. I'm going to read some of what the Challenger says. And I didn't even know that she was a PhD. I had no idea that she was Dr. Lorna Peterson. Somebody said, the editor's note says, this is the information we had at press time. I remember Lorna as a conscientious, quiet warrior queen, an amazing researcher, keeper of records, a supportive friend with an uncompromising sense of justice. Lorna's humanity was the stuff that real heroines are made of. She always had her finger on the pulse, was an amazing organizer, disseminator of information. She cared about her community and was a great supporter of efforts she believed in. One of the most recent examples I recall was her dedication of a building in the Fruit Belt to the African Heritage Food Co-op, which would hopefully be renovated and open soon. And so I knew her from many different areas, and sorry to hear of her passing. It's a lot in the Challenger this week. The mistrial of Cariel Horn. Judge sets new trial date for December. November 18th marked the date that jury selection began in the case of Cariel Horn, an ex-Buffalo police officer who went viral during the blizzard. Now, so in case you don't know, what is going on right now is this is not the case from the police officer.
Right.
This is the winter. She intervenes. Allegedly, I wasn't there, but this is a story where some officers had put some youth, had them sit in the snow, and then I would imagine then she was then arrested. There had to be some charges for her to be going to trial.
Obstruction of justice, disorderly conduct, and harassment.
All right, so the jury selection started and ended on Monday with 6 jurors selected along with 2 alternates. Of the jurors selected, only 1 was African American or black. Now that's interesting. Tuesday morning, before trial was set to begin, Cariel Horn submitted a 3-page letter to the court under Judge Tiffany Perry, requesting an adjournment in court, dismissal of her counsel, and time to find a new attorney. Within an hour, Judge Perry returned to rule a mistrial with a new appearance date for Cariel Horn set on December 2nd, 2024. Woo, that's a lot going on. But, you look at jury trials, and it's funny because I am looking at a series right now entitled The Lincoln Lawyer on Netflix. And what I watched a couple of days ago, them picking a jury. And I think it's known that because you don't have African Americans are not the largest in the population,
Right.
In Erie County, and jurors are chosen throughout Erie County, and so when you get a jury, you're supposed to have a jury of your peers, So, whatever peers means. But if there's only one African American, I probably would
Yeah.
be like, especially in a situation like this.
Yeah, I would raise the same concern. And if I was looking at, one of my other favorite jury selection shows was Bull.
Mm-hmm.
And he was into court science and
Yeah.
he, reading people and based on my
Right.
defense,
Yes.
what kind of jurors am I looking for? And to your point, going countywide, but it's also based on voting.
Yes.
So if you don't vote, you'll never get called for jury selection. So you'll never have that opportunity to sit for a trial for your peers. So this is also the larger picture around our situation and why we sometimes don't get a lot of color on jury trials.
Yeah, and so then what happens is, the lawyers have the opportunity to dismiss certain
Yes.
jurors.
Yep.
So now, and I'm looking up some stuff now. So and they only have so many opportunities
Yes.
to dismiss. So at the end of the day, if we are not voters, if we are not picked, if we, many people don't want to be on juries. They lose time at work.
Yep.
Time period. And then there is this. A big concentration of African Americans are in one area
Yes.
of the city.
Yep.
So now, if I'm on a jury with somebody who you're gonna know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
It can be tough then if that person is found guilty. So a lot of people and it's that kind of, it's not the same thing, but it's that kind of no snitching. I don't I don't want to be a part of the system.
Absolutely.
And so I find an excuse of why I can't serve.
Yeah.
And now you're left
Yep.
with this almost all white jury.
Yeah, because like you said, if it's not the defendant, you might know a witness, and so you're still in that like, oh, I have to recuse or walk away from the jury trial anyway.
Yeah. So, but how do you remedy that? Okay, let me read you this so that I got facts for you. Potential juries in Erie County are chosen through a random selection process using multiple sources. The selection process works as follows. Names are randomly selected from county voter registration lists and license.
Oh,
So it's more, because I remember, and not that this series is accurate, but that's what he was explaining to his driver. Like it's multiple government places where your name could be. So according to this, and this is from New York .us courts, NYWD.US courts. Names are randomly selected from voter registration lists and licensed motor vehicle operator lists for the state of New York. So if you drive, you could be picked. These names are entered into a pool, which individuals may randomly be summoned. The New York State jury, blah, 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 blah. Once jurors are selected, potential jurors receive a summons. We all know that.
Yep.
So now they got to start all the way from scratch.
yeah.
The reason I'm bringing this up for a minute is because there may be somebody listening who you get that jury duty notice, how important it is. It's a service, but
and like you said, and knowing the process, because you do have to, you get summoned, and I think I've been summoned twice in New York, and you get the letter, and then you have to call the day before to see if you're even needed before you go.
Right.
And I think one time I was needed, one time I wasn't. And then no, the one time I was told the night before I was needed, then I had to call again in the morning. And in the morning they said I wasn't needed. The second time I did have to go, and I think it was federal court. And I think to that the jury selection process came up, and we all had to sit in the courtroom. And I think the both sides, the defendant and the plaintiff, they must have had joint questions because the judge asked, and the judge said, "Hey, how many people work in government?" I raised my hand, and he was like, "All of you can be excused."
Didn't want anybody in government.
And so I think there's those times where it can be both parties have a set of standards that they're looking for, or then it was like, how many people have kids?
Kicked
those
all them off.
Kicked all those off. So there are certain parameters. So sometimes it is good to respond, and you might be one of those that are gone in like an hour.
Well, I've only had jury duty once. I've been summoned twice.
Wow.
Got to the trial. The day of the trial, it was settled. It was a car accident.
Yep.
And it was settled that morning. I was kind of disappointed. I was
Yeah,
like,
you look forward to once you're there, you get to look forward.
number one, I was working at the post office. I was going to get paid. So I was going to get paid. I'm like, I get to see this juicy trial. If you do not respond or you fail to respond to a jury summons, the potential consequences are 1, fines of up to $1,000. 2, imprisonment for up to 3 days. 3, community service. Or 4, a combination of all of them.
Jeez.
Yeah. So
Ain't worth it.
Yeah, just go respond.
just respond.
But understand that just because they ask, like, do you have kids? You raise your hand. That might mean you stay.
Yeah, it's true.
You never know what the criteria
Absolutely.
is of what they look for. Marva Bryan says, "Where's the video?" I'd imagine she's talking about of the incident. I know that there, from what I'm hearing, that there was video of the incident because the officer's body cam.
Yeah.
I don't know why it hasn't been released, if it will be released, if it was asked to be sequestered or something because of the trial, have no idea. Some attorneys don't want it to be released because it could potentially poison a jury pool, and they've already come up with their,
But if I remember correctly from that winter storm, I believe it was also circulating on Facebook. A form of the video was circulating on not an official, but somebody walking down the street with the cell phone.
With their cell phone.
Yeah, I think there was footage of that night.
So it's an interesting thing to think about, this whole jury duty thing. Other things in the news, and then I'm going to tell you about a law that has passed one house that could affect not-for-profit organizations, including churches, anybody who has a tax exempt. And it's not being talked about real loud because it probably won't pass the second house until after January. After January, I want everybody to remember that everything that failed this session could come right before
Gets refiled.
the House refiled and passed very quickly. Now, there was that whole plan that Trump said that soon to be President Trump again, the incoming president, he said he didn't have anything to do with it. And now, you remember that? He said, what is it?
Project 2025.
He said he had nothing to do with it. Now the playbook is there. Let me say this, and I'm not a prophet, I just got a little brain. Did I not tell you that Biden was going to give Ukraine?
You sure did.
Was going to say, do whatever y'all want to do.
Sure did. And for, like you said, for those who don't know, Biden said, go ahead and launch our missiles wherever you want us.
So people, I try to explain it really down so that everybody gets what's happening, because a lot of times we spend more time worried about little stuff around here than about the big picture. Yeah. So I said, when the Democrats lost the election, that before they leave in January, that President Biden, so the United States government has given Ukraine weapons.
A lot of them.
And what they have said is, this is how you can only use them like this, and this.
Yep.
So they limited.
Basically, protect your borders.
Limited what they could do. I told you before this man left office, he was going to say, do what you want to do.
Yep.
So he said to Ukraine, you can go ahead and launch over to Russia.
Yep.
Now, what Russia did is said, we're about to show you a new weapon we have. And they sent these weapons that are faster than the speed of sound over into Ukraine, which threatens now other countries because of how far these weapons can go and how fast. And the detection systems
can't pick it up,
are not capable of picking these missiles up.
No.
What that means in a nutshell, folks, is we have been watching the foreign wars of Ukraine, Russia, Israel, Hamas, all of this, right? End of the day, what Russia is saying out loud, we have capability if you mess with us
Yep.
to send stuff your way.
And they raised their nuclear activation level.
Yes.
So they're saying, like you said, you come, we waiting.
We waiting. It is imminent.
Yeah.
And Biden flexed his muscle, and then Vladimir Putin said, "Okay, now we about to unveil something that you didn't even know we had."
Yes.
So this, let me tell you, they used to sing that song, "You better get it right, get it right. Time is coming soon." That's probably the wrong word, John. You know, I ain't come.
The message is still received.
Yeah, I didn't come from that tradition of a church. If it wasn't in the hymn, if it wasn't in the hymn, I ain't know it. So you look at, and I may do a series. I was going to do I was looking for really what Christmas series I was going to do. And I saw something written the other day about Christmas in crisis. I'm praying on that because we're about to be in a real, this is about to be a political show like none other from the city level, because I've read, so everything I tell you is already public.
Right.
I don't bring up anything in here that I can't say that ain't. So I read this morning that Sean Ryan is planning a big announcement. Like we don't know.
What is it?
What is it? Let me guess. Let me guess.
You know, I think that dog catcher position that you always talk about, maybe.
Maybe you think that's what he's running for. So you got city races. You have the federal race. The big. No. Change is going to be on the federal. But when I come back, and I'm getting ready to go over to the station.
Oh, and don't forget, next year, all of the state positions are up too. Governor, comptroller, and and attorney general.
What a time to be retired. I'm just sitting back with my popcorn. I
need to build a bomb shelter.
I got some Skinny Pop or whatever it's called, and I'm going to sit back with my popcorn and watch. When we come back from the break, I'm going to, it's being talked about in other areas, but, a lot of times here we just let it go over our head because we fighting over little stuff and fighting each other. Your church could lose its tax-exempt status. The Urban League, NAACP, small groups, fathers groups, whatever, the most valuable parents. You may lose your tax-exempt status if this law goes into place and you do something that I'm going to tell you after the break. I'm coming to the station in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
When it comes to something as personal as your clothes, you need to deal with somebody you can trust. That's why so many people turn to Hobson's Dry Cleaning, conveniently located in the heart of the community at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming.
When you take your clothes to Hobson's, you can trust that they'll be ready on time.
You can trust that your whites will be white.
You can trust that you'll always get a fair price and service with a smile.
You can even trust that you won't have to get out of your car if you don't want to. Hobson's has a drive-through window for your convenience.
Trust is what it's all about at Hobson's Dry Cleaning.
Hobson's Dry Cleaning, your one-stop dry cleaners serving the community for over 30 years at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming. Call 891-8298. That's 891-8298.
Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home has 3 locations to serve you in Buffalo. 347 Peckham, 2258 Bailey Avenue, and Providence Memorial Chapel at 1275 Sycamore. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes offers traditional services, and they have services for all faiths. And at Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes, they have air-conditioned parlors and chapels. Financing is available, as is limousine service. At those difficult moments in your life, Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes is available where you are with counseling services. call toll free 877-885-7734. That's 877-885-7734. Or locally 845-5545. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes. We are here to serve you, here to serve this present age. Call today, toll free 877-885-7734 or email info@brianklewisfuneralhome.com.
All right, we're back, and thank you to Brian K. Lewis, who did such a wonderful job today with Deacon Reeves' funeral and other funerals that he takes care of families all over our city. And thank you, of course, to Hobson's, the doctor of dry cleaning. All right, folks, check this out. Let me give you an example of why this bill that the House of Representatives just recently passed. One time here at True Bethel, because this is what, one time I remember there was a police incident, not in Buffalo, but across the country, and everybody was putting their hands up and saying they couldn't breathe. We had shirts that said we couldn't breathe. The praise team had on shirts that said they couldn't breathe, blah, 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 blah. If this bill passes, even people who support, like, Black Lives Matter, because, you know, some people felt Black Lives Matter was a terrorist organization, right? Here's the bill that just passed that nobody's talking about. The U.S. House of Representatives recently passed a controversial bill that would grant the Treasury Department significant new powers over nonprofits. The key aspects proposed, and this comes out of, so that you know I got it out of a reliable source, U.S. News and Yahoo News, the Treasury Secretary will have unilateral authority to revoke the tax-exempt status of nonprofits deemed to support terrorism. So let me, before I give you the other points, let me tell you what that means. One person, the Treasury Secretary, could say, if you're saying we support Black Lives Matter and he feels or she feels that that is a terrorist organization, or if you say I stand with Palestine from your not-for-profit, or I stand with Israel, whatever it is, you could lose your tax-exempt status unilaterally without any hearing from one person. Number two of this law, it would create a new classification called, quote, and I quote, you can't make this up, terrorist supporting organizations. That's where they would classify you, end of quote, for entities identified as providing material assistance to terrorist groups within the past 3 years. They going back three years. One person could say, if you say, I mean, they could, if they feel that, and I feel Hamas is a terrorist organization, but your nonprofit, then they're saying we could take your stuff away. Now, in the past, you couldn't endorse through a nonprofit. Well, that kind of went out of the window. You couldn't endorse a presidential candidate. You couldn't endorse. Well, we saw many tapes, right? Still legally.
Yep.
And I don't stand in the pulpit and endorse somebody. I can't do it. I could lose my tax-exempt status. But I saw an entire year and something of very prominent churches who said the black church needed to repent, which means you know what you were doing, sir. Right. You know what you were saying. Now, I can have candidates here.
Yep.
They can speak here, but according to the law, I cannot utilize my organization for bipartisan politics. And they have ignored that. But when it comes to now saying, we're going to take it away if we think that you supporting terrorist organization. Now, point number 3, nonprofits labeled as terror supporting will have 90 days to contest their designation. But they contested back to the same one who deemed them.
Yeah.
The bill, number 4, would shift the burden of proof onto the nonprofit to demonstrate they are not supporting terrorism?
Well, and here's I'm trying to figure out. Here we are. I'm reading from ABC News, and
Okay.
it says that the ACLU have said that this bill doesn't even require the Secretary of Treasury to disclose the evidence that was
That's
used
crazy.
to make the decision.
That's crazy. The bill passed with a vote of 219 to 184, primarily supported by Republicans. However, I want to know who the Democrats were.
Well,
You got it? You got it?
No, I don't have the votes. But the reason why I'm reading Republicans are kind of upset is they said Democrats were supporting this bill until Donald Trump won.
I want to know.
I'm going to go find it.
Come on, which Democrats voted for a bill that one person could deem your organization as a terror supporting group?
I can't believe they don't have the bill number.
I can't find the bill number. However, it faces an uncertain future in the Democrat-controlled Senate. It'll fail in the Senate.
Right now.
Right now, folks. Right now. It could pass the Senate after January.
Here we go. HR 6408. I'm looking for the votes, but
HR
that's the bill. HR
Okay.
6408.
All right. Wait a minute. HR 6408?
Yes.
08. HR. What Democrats voted, because I want to know, voted, spell it right, for HR 6408. Here we go. Drum roll, please. No. no drum roll. The search results do not provide a specific list of Democrats. Nobody's been able to find them. Even national radio has not been able to. It's out there somewhere.
There has been one roll call vote. Come on now.
Yep. Nope, I can't find it, you all. But here's the point. There are Democrats who are supporting this. Oh, I found it. The Democrats, is it HR 64? What is it?
08.
Yeah, 6408?
Yep.
Got it. Jared Huffman, California. Rashida Tlaib of Michigan. Pramila, I ain't never heard these people.
Oh, from Michigan to leave. I just saw her name. She got quoted in this article. Hold on, let me go back.
Well,
to it.
according
As you
to
keep
this,
reading.
it says the Democrats who voted. No. Let me take all of that back. The Democrats who voted against, which allows the Treasury Department to revoke to support. She voted against it.
Yeah, she said.
Let me take that
she
back.
She said Thursday before the vote it would be her third time voting against the bill.
Yep. So Pramila, because I was wondering, like, these names sound like they shouldn't have supported this.
Here's a little history. So it says a version of the bill was first introduced in October 7th of 2023 after the Hamas attack on Israel, and the House passed a previous version of the bill in April, which including with the support of some Democrats. So that's why the bill did have Democratic support, because it was after the initial Hamas attack, and then there was some changes to the bill even in April.
So this is real.
Real.
Is in real time. I want everybody to know. Trying to get to some of it. Veronica Ivy says, okay, so who's our Secretary of Defense to deal with this? Who is the nominee for Secretary of Defense? Let me see.
Remember.
Who, I got it right here. Who is the nominee for Secretary of Defense? All right, here we go. Everybody line up. Pete, the Pete Hegseth, who has been selected by President Trump, the former Fox News host.
Oh, jeez.
Now, that's a good question. On Independence crying. Janet Parker says, good afternoon. Kamal says, partisan politics are not allowed. Welcome to authoritarian rule. So the guy who was on Fox News.
I got it.
What?
I got the votes.
You got the votes?
Oh, this is from the April.
Name the roll.
This is from
Oh.
This is from the April.
See,
bill.
nobody, I couldn't find it. And even another nationally syndicated show could not find who voted for this thing.
Okay, hold on. That's from the April vote. Yeah, I'm going back to digging. I said I'm going back to dig. That's from the April vote.
So the guy, and that's a really good question of who is that Veronica asked. The nominee is the guy who was the former news host for Fox.
Yeah, that's right.
Fox News. He's going to decide whether your church, whether you're not-for-profit, because of who they support, nonpartisan, whether you can lose your tax-exempt status. This is about to be a different
Wait, was that
time.
Treasury or Defense?
Oh, wait a minute.
That
Oh, it's nope, I put in. It brought up, I'm wrong.
I just
It's supposed to be Treasury, right?
Yes, she was. I think her question about the
defense
was on the previous topic.
Who is the nominee for the, thanks for catching that, Treasury of Defense. You know, we live and in living, no, not defense. For the, what is it?
Treasury.
For the, what is he? Secretary
of Treasury.
We are live bringing you real stuff. Secretary of Treasury. So I apologize to Hegbat, but him too. The nominee for Secretary of Treasury is Kevin Warsh, a former governor of the Federal Reserve. That's who he is. We don't even know who he is. What are the qualifications? It ain't none. The next question comes up. What is the qualification? None, not a thing.
I got $5 in my pocket.
I need to go read the rest of this. So that's what we facing, man. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. Not for profits about to have a hard time in this area. Let me tell you, because a couple of them waiting on that $40 million come from the city that might not come, because that might have to be gone. And I'm going to say this because I've taken full responsibility that it's tough when there's a shortfall like this. Now, this is what I want you to remember in city government, especially in city government, that doesn't have the type of money that the state and the federal government has. So you put a budget out there, and you don't, and I've said this before, it's a hard job. So I told you, I'm sitting back eating popcorn. People say we don't want our taxes raised. We want to keep all of our services. So we still need police, still need fire. I want my garbage picked up every week.
Every week.
And that's what takes the big bulk of the budget. So if you haven't read, and it was in the Buffalo News, and nobody is saying this is going to happen, it's a possibility it could. There's still like $40 million, I believe Buffalo News reported, left in the American Rescue Act money. And if you all remember, that's the money that the federal government sent down to cities to say, hey, we're sending this money to change your area from everything that you've been through. But cities, you can use some of it for budget shortfalls. You know, your taxes, people weren't able to pay taxes, yada, yada. People weren't spending, so that money didn't come through as a revenue. So now the city may have a shortfall. But here is how hard it is. And I pray for all of our leaders. I'm just going to say this. I pray for all of our leaders. Because now you got lawsuits coming in. Well, money, you budget for lawsuits.
Not this
But
month.
we just had a huge lawsuit, the city. And I'm not going to say it wasn't justified. And then we got the lawsuit coming up. You know how I feel about that one. Definitely justified.
Yep.
For the Buffalo Five, for two of them. At the end of the day, all of these things hit.
Yep.
And now you got to make these decisions, because if you cut fire, people going to be on fire.
Yes.
Both emotionally and literally. You can't.
Absolutely.
You cannot cut your fire department.
No.
If you cut police, the people who saying cut police, if something happened and it's involving them and you don't have enough police and detectives.
They're going to be the first one. They're going to be, hey, why weren't you there in 3 seconds?
Yeah, come on.
Yep.
So you tied right there.
Yep.
You look at jobs, and I'm not defending anybody. I'm just telling people the truth because I've sat there. the jobs in City Hall don't make up a big portion of what we pay
No.
for our city services.
Yep.
Garbage, sanitation, streets, all of that kind of stuff. And especially in a city like Buffalo that has this thaw, you got the winter, the thaw. We're not an area like Southern California where basically you don't have ice. And you don't have to go out and buy. I wonder what they buy. You don't have to buy salt.
Palm trees. Like, I don't know what they buy.
It's got to be easier running a government in a place where the weather. We don't know what this weather is about to be like. I'm already scared.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have too many good days. And we're not even in the winter. Winter doesn't start until December 20th.
All I'm hoping is, and we've already been talking about it, we've been meeting, and I'm just like, I just hope the lake freezes soon. Like, I just.
And explain that because of snow.
So what happens is, we traditionally don't get as many nor'easters or general blizzard or snowstorms. What ends up happening is the longer the lake takes to freeze, when that air comes down from Canada and the northern air comes down, it basically lifts all that precipitation out off of the lake and then drops it, and that's how we end up with the lake effect and lake bands of snow. So if the waters don't freeze, that's how specific areas get dumped with snow.
Right.
Now, if it's a blizzard, then that's when we all kind of get blanketed. But if it's just a lake effect, then it's because the water didn't freeze.
Now I know you know all this stuff. What does the almanac say? What are we looking at this winter? What are we looking at?
Actually, we're meeting with Patrick Hammer next week, but I think everyone is saying everyone's predicting us to kind of get one or two big hits. And then it'll just be all the nuisance snow.
See, I can take a big hit.
Yeah.
But what I'm asking the Lord.
It's no nuisance.
What I'm asking the Lord is let that hit be on a Monday. Let it be on a Tuesday. But all us pastors
yes,
and mosques, we don't want you to mess with Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
No.
And everybody who gets off of work don't want you to mess with Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And fall before I have to make the decision to go to work.
Yeah. I need everybody to join me in a word of prayer that we don't have a big storm on a Friday, a Saturday, or Sunday. That take care of everybody. That take care of the Muslims.
Everybody.
That takes care of the Jews, and that take care of the Christians.
Absolutely. And I did find a vote. So the reason why
you found it?
The reason why you can't find it is because it's actually House Bill 9495, which is called the Stop Terror Financing and Tax Penalties on American Hostages Act.
Okay. What Democrat?
So 15
voted for
So
this?
15 Democrats voted yes. Can I break this down? Yeah, I sure can. Here we go. So Alred from Texas, Correo from Colorado, Case from Hawaii, Killer from Texas, Davis from North Carolina, Golden from Maine, Gonzalez from Texas, Lee from Nevada.
Wow.
Didn't expect to see this name from Florida. Moskowitz from Florida.
Why did you expect to see? We don't even know who he is.
I would not expect Moskowitz from Florida. Panetta from California. Perez from Washington. Snyder from Illinois.
They voted for this.
This is for it. Suzio from New York. Torres.
All right.
Torres from California, and Wasserman Schultz from Florida.
I was just getting ready to say, I bet you bet not be any New Yorkers, but it's a New Yorker on there.
Yeah.
Folks, it probably won't happen until after January. But understand, so much that failed is going to come back to the table. And I'm telling you, the same way I said Biden was going to let those weapons go.
Yep.
The other week I said, and I was playing, but I'm not playing no more. Temu, Sheen, get ready, because your profit's about to go down. Guess who launched a thing similar to Temu?
Who?
Amazon.
Did they really?
Amazon now has I don't know if it's on the tab, but I saw it, of under $20 items.
Come on through here, Jeff Bezos.
Amazon said, okay, I'll tell you what, if y'all ain't gonna be able to shine and Shein and Temu, I'll give it to you. You can get some cheap stuff off my page.
Absolutely.
So Amazon.
And honestly, is one of the things I'm studying right now. Where I will say there is some American ingenuity is with even Jeff Bezos is, okay, you want to put tariffs over there? It's called supply chain management. Hey, I'll build you a warehouse. You can bring all that stuff over here and store it in one of my warehouses, and then we take care of your logistics.
Yep.
So that's
And Bishop Gelsey asked a question: is Black Lives Matter a terrorist group? Not to me,
yeah.
but
How it gets
it has been
classified.
identified by some as a terrorist group. So if this law passes, I'm not saying that the Secretary of Treasury will do it, but he could do it. And remember, when Black Lives Matter was in its heyday, there were those across the aisle saying it was a terrorist group. That's the point of that. So is it a terrorist group? Not in my opinion, but in the opinion, let me say it like this. My opinion don't matter. What matters is that Secretary of Treasury.
Yeah. And honestly, to that point, it's really up to the FBI and Homeland Security to designate who's a terrorist group. So
All of who have been,
so have that yeah.
but but Mark, I'm not sure if that's true in this circumstance, because according to this law, wait a minute, it doesn't say anything about the FBI. It doesn't say anything about the CIA. It only talks about the Secretary of Treasury.
No, that's who designates the organization for supporting. But I'm saying that somebody has to label them a terroristic group, and I think that can only be the FBI and Homeland Security. I think.
I don't know. That's why these are the real debates we
Yes.
need to be having.
Absolutely.
These are the real friggin' debates we need to be having and understanding so that we can advocate. Because I'm looking at a summary. It would create a new classification called terrorist supporting organizations. So I don't know, without really getting into the law, or seeing the proposition, and we haven't even, it's not even out there. So that's why. Are the Republicans Trumpsters? I don't know, Kamal. I don't know. That's Kamal asking on Facebook. I could tell you this: they won't be deemed that because they're going to own Washington, D.C. come January. They're going to own Washington, D.C. come January. So I don't know the answer to that. You still searching.
Yeah, because now I'm into the text. So, terrorist supporting organization, for the purposes of this paragraph, the term terrorist supporting organization means any organization which is designated by the Secretary as having provided during the 3-year period.
I want you to say it again. Designated by whom?
The Secretary as having provided during the 3-year period ending on the date of such designation material or support within the meaning of another
But
section.
listen to what you just read.
Yeah, but so that's what I'm saying. But who designates the group?
It says designated by the Secretary. That's what the things say, man.
Organization which is he's saying designated. So he's saying they're saying if true CDC, if the Secretary
Don't be calling out you better call out, you better make up a name.
ABC for America. There we go. ABC for America. If they are designated by the Secretary as supporting a terrorist group. So that's what I'm saying. Something else has to designate who you're supporting.
Okay.
And that's where I think
I don't think so, but we gonna agree to disagree and bring this back. We're gonna take a lookie because it's gonna be in the bookie really soony. I'm telling y'all the stuff that we don't normally talk about. That's what I'm doing. I'm talking about the stuff we don't normally talk about. The things we really need to be nitty-gritty paying attention to. Because you know how many not-for-profits is out there?
Yeah, and that's the crazy part. Buffalo has the most not-for-profits per capita for our size city.
Wow.
I think in the country.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Hobson's, the Dr. Dry Cleaning, 874 East Delavan Avenue. Why do I always get ready to say in your time of need? I guess I could say that.
You could.
In your time
I have
of
a
need.
ton of needs right now with Hobson's.
I got a bin too. And what I love now is this new thing where they send you a text message
Yes.
when your clothes are ready.
Yep.
So you'll get a text message, and if you don't want it, I think you can opt out.
Yep.
I like the text message. Send me the text message.
Yeah, because I forget.
Yeah, I forget. I had some pants hemmed the other day, and I left them over there in Rods forever. And then I had a suit made somewhere and took the thing. I told the lady I'll be back the next day. I ain't been back yet. I got to go get that suit pants.
Yeah.
Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home in your hour of need. That's the one that fits.
Yes.
347 Peckham, 2528 Bailey, 1275 Sycamore. In your hour of need, I'm going to say it again. For those of you youngins who didn't know, you could dial 411
Did not.
and get a number, or go online and Google Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home, whichever way, or call Auntie Ting Ting, who used them. She know the number, and get Brian over there to help you during your hour of need. Listen, we've talked about a lot. Did you find something else?
No,
new?
I'm
Yeah. I think, homie, the Secretary of Treasury.
I mean, that would be a crazy precedent to say the money man gets to determine who's a terrorist. That's a oof.
Yeah. That's. So I hope I'm wrong on that.
Yeah.
I really hope that I hope this thing never passes. There are portions of it that may, because it would extend. Which, listen to this. This is the last point. It would extend the tax filing deadline. Why am I doing my fingers like Donald Trump? It would extend the tax filing deadlines for Americans held hostage.
Yeah.
Or unlawfully detained overseas. Like, for real, you got to make a law that if I was a hostage, they going to get this tax money.
As soon as you
They
get
going
back.
to get this folks, it extends your deadline just in case you go overseas and you a hostage or unlawfully detained.
POWs, everything, everybody.
So you telling me if I go over to China and they unlawfully detain me, y'all gonna be waiting for my taxes?
Waiting.
I done already counted. The embassy should know, and everybody else.
You got 60 days.
You got 60 days to get your taxes back. But I ain't made no money. I was detained.
This country.
Eva Doyle on my way out says, I would suggest that everyone get prepared for the stormy weather that is coming. Get the things you need in your homes: food, batteries, operated radios, and definitely water. Thank you, Mother Doyle. All right, until next week,
Power to the people.